So I just watched the Duncan Watts video. Everything is obvious once you know the answers. I thought it was pretty interesting. It had some good points, couple seemingly obvious points, and some that were a little vague. Particularly his idea that history never really repeats itself. I mean, I feel like that's kind of a moot point because obviously nothing's ever exactly the same, but the argument of that old adage is that similar things happen when people don't learn from the lessons of the past. So, I mean, I feel like he just kind of glossed over that. But anyway, I thought the law of unintended consequences, that seemed kind of important. The idea that uh, even the best of intentions sometimes result in things that are completely different from their original purpose, which I thought that segue into the halo effect, the idea that like the good companies, the prominent, well-funded companies are perceived to have better management, better strategies from the gate, from the inception that made them profitable. I know for a fact, like just based on things that I've read about Microsoft and about Apple and McDonald's and all of these companies, usually it's not like they had this plan, step one, they're gonna, start selling ice cream machines like McDonald's did, and then put those into mom and pop food restaurants, and then step two, they're gonna start buying restaurants to put them in, and then step three, they're gonna franchise that and spread it around. Um, yeah, I think it's usually a bit more of luck that causes these companies to go from just being an otherwise like flailing startup into these multi-billion dollar multinational corporations. The same was true of Apple with the idea of focusing on graphical interfaces, using a mouse. Bill Gates, like he didn't, I don't think he finished college either, him nor did Steve Jobs. So it's not like they were taught how to be successful in business and then just followed that business plan until it made them billions of dollars and made them considered one of the great minds of our time. It's usually more like just things happen to be perfect at the perfect time, and more often than not it's like the more crazy idea is the one that ends up being what worked out. So like he was saying before, there's no way to really predict that. There's no way to correlate that and say like the next big thing will be this based on these situational facts. So I thought that was a good point. Let's see. Yeah, it's often the good ideas, the things that are thought like, obviously this can't help but keep making money. This is what we saw with the dot-com bubble bursting. Um, the basically like all of the things, the safe ideas are usually the ones that aren't, they're low risk but they're also low return and have greater potential to be phased out. If you just keep doing the status quo, it seems like you're more likely to be unsuccessful than you are to be exponentially successful as you would with those crazy ideas that some of the other people think of. So I thought that was a good point. The halo effect is real, but yeah, it's just like the same thing that happens with societies and different countries. It's the one that wins that usually gets to tell their story, and that story is usually one that shows them in a favorable light, and like that everything they've done was right, and all of the opponents, whatever was the opposition at the time, was just completely unrealistic to them, and that's why they were able to succeed. So I thought that was the biggest point of it, and I thought it was a pretty effective video for that.